I think I probably started having sleep problems about 13 or 14 years ago, but it took a few years before it actually manifested itself. And I went and spoke to a health professional. So it was actually 10 years ago next month when I was diagnosed as having sleep apnea, and I was sent off packing with a CPAP mask under my arm, which wasn't wasn't what I expected. And I've spent the last 10 years hating my CPAP mask because it never ever did what it was supposed to do. I felt I had bad sleeps with CPAP and bad sleeps without CPAP. But when they did a sleep study on me, I did have quite a severe form of sleep apnea. And I was waking up, in multiple times at night. And it was clearly having a significant impact on my health and on my energy levels during the day. And I think the thing that actually drove me to seek some help was I was starting to fall asleep whilst driving, which was obviously potentially dangerous. Brain fog, struggling to concentrate, disengaging with friends and family because it was just too much of an effort to actually get involved in a conversation because your brain and body was shutting down because it felt, I mean, it was sheer exhaustion. I think I described it one time to my wife as like trying to walk through really thick treacle. You just it was just a constant fight, and it was easier to give into it and just basically sit and allow the exhaustion to take over your life. It's a horrible affliction, as you well know.
Hmm.
I hated everything about CPAP. I mean, from mundane things like I hated traveling and carrying the CPAP through an airport, and you always get stopped at the X-ray certs because you've got this electronic gizmo in your hand luggage that could be some kind of threatening thing for airline staff. I hated having to be, if you wanted to go camping, you had to find somewhere where you had power so you could plug the machine in. You couldn't be as spontaneous, and you were effectively handcuffed to this bit of equipment that was really my life, and it was making me completely miserable. I mean, it really was the single most damaging thing for my mental health. It's not a particularly pleasant thing if you're sharing a bed with your partner to be
Hmm.
lying there with this machine as well. And it used to sometimes disturb my wife if the mask would come off and the air would be escaping, and that would wake her up. And I don't think I ever went a full night wearing the mask. I mean, halfway through each night, it would get launched across the room. I just couldn't put up with it. I was testing everything, like all the gizmos that you see online. I was researching it, and I tried everything from mouth tape to neck braces to tongue exercises to things that you put in your mouth. I went and I saw an orthodontist who claimed he could make some kind of thing fit and I could wear it at night. I went and I spoke to an ENT surgeon. Actually, I spoke to two ENT surgeons to talk about whether there could be some kind of surgical intervention. I mean, I was everywhere, mouth tape, all sorts of stuff. Nothing worked. The orthodontist, the surgeons. I mean, nobody seemed to have any kind of alternative option. I mean, I was at the point of desperation. I really thought that was it. There was no other solution because I discovered yourself, and I watched some of the videos, and I think for the first time in 10 years, I was listening to a health professional who completely and fully understood what I was going through because you'd gone through it yourself, and you knew you got where I was. Everything you said, I recognised, I immediately related to, and that was comforting. I'm a cynic by nature. I don't believe things that I see on the internet, for example. But the more I watched of the information that you were putting out there, there was a lot of science behind it. There was a lot of research had gone into it. It all stacked up. It all made a lot of sense about just the statistics as to why there are so many people suffering from apnea in the modern age, and it all linked, it all joined up, and it all made an awful lot of sense to me. And that was why I signed up, and I'm glad I did.
Mhm.
I think quite quickly, certainly within the first month, I noticed an improvement in my sleeping. And I haven't been near a CPAP since we started the program. So the machine's still lying there, and it can lie there, get rusty for the rest of its life, as far as I'm concerned. I think perhaps I was pleasantly surprised at how quick I saw some of the improvements. I remember the old Brian, the one from a year ago, who was tired, had no energy, wasn't participating in conversations, was potentially dangerous behind the wheel of a car, and that Brian isn't there anymore. That's I have significantly better levels of energy. I mean, for example, I could have maybe attributed last year, oh, I'm just getting older and that's it. You're going to get tired as you get old. I mean, I'm if that was the case, and I'm younger this year than I was 2 years ago. I certainly feel younger. I'm able to exercise more without getting fatigue. You know, yeah, and I'm not as I'm not depressed about the thought of having to put a CPAP mask on. I no longer travel with a CPAP, so just from the simple things like the convenience of traveling to the more important things of being alert and aware, and having higher energy levels.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's for me. That's been the big change. Yeah, well, I've been wearing an O2 pulse oximeter at night, and I can see now that my apnea events are minimal, sometimes almost nil. I mean, it's a couple of nights I've recorded pretty normal scores, like what would I assume is a person without apnea. The discussions that I've had with you and the team have always been bespoke to me, and I think the other significant thing, and I know you and some of the team say it, is you've always got my back, and I think that's always been important, because if you do go off track and you feel that you're not achieving your objectives, there's the coaching calls, there's the Q&As, there's the email that I can ping questions to say, look, I'm not sure about this. I don't know if I'm doing this the right way. Can you maybe give me some guidance? Or I've tried that. I'm not sure it's working. Can you go over it again with me? So you've always got my back, and I think you've always got everybody's back. It's clear that you're passionate about what you do, and as I say, it's something that you are very, very knowledgeable in, and you've gone through it. So that to me has always been encouraging, and helpful. I just wish I'd found you 9 years ago and saved me buying mouth tape and mouth guards and neck things and other stuff, because the answer was there. I just didn't know it was there.